Hi everyone, Jessica here from Paper Ink Stamp and welcome back to my channel. So today's video we're going to be looking at issue 229 of Simply Cards and Papercraft. So let's take a look at our free gift to begin with. So this set is called Peach Pearfection. So this is a 9-piece stamp set. You also get 55 bonus digital papers and toppers that you can download from the Craft World website. I'm not going to be using any of those in today's video, but they are there free to download for you. And it also comes with an outline die set as well. So if anybody from Practical Publishing or from Craft Stash is watching this video, I would really love to have more coordinating dies with your free gifts. That's just me, that's what I would love, because I do prefer a coordinating die with at least some elements on the card. But yeah, if you can do more, that would be brilliant. Anyway, so I'm really happy that these come with the two coordinating dies. You've got the one for the whole peach, the whole pear, sorry, and the whole peach. But we do also have this lovely little blossom. You've got the two halves of the fruit as well, so you could do like the whole pear with the half a pear there, and then we do have some sort of punny sentiments, but you've got happy birthday, you're the perfect pear, have a peachy day, and sweet as a peach as well. So definitely be using a sentiment on today's card. But I'm going to show you two different ways of using this set to create something just a little bit different if you don't want to simply just colour and stamp. That's the free gift. Let's take a look at the magazine itself. So we do have the cover image there. Again, a really lovely coloured in peach. I'd imagine that's a little bit of watercolouring, that kind of image, and it is a really great size as well. Would be perfect for doing some watercolouring there. But let's take a look at the inspiration in here. So we have got Nikki's 4 cards here. So again, using those peaches and those pears together with the same kind of colours. You've got a shaker element, so kind of die cutting the peach from the cardstock there and then turning that into a little shaker element. That's very, very clever. This one here, so it looks like she's done some no-line watercolouring, and by the looks of it, she's very, very talented at that. This is absolutely beautiful. And then we have got then using the pear, stamping the image, die cutting it, and then putting the sentiment in it, which is a really fantastic way of just using that for something a little bit different. And then we have this card that looks again like a little bit of a shaker sort of element there as well. So we've got in here creating a watercolor shaker card. So again, die cutting from the cardstock there and then sort of placing it on foam tape, so you've got some dimension in there. Beautiful. We have got sweet as a peach there, so creating a lovely little wreath. We've got fruit blossom, so again very simple, doing a little bit of white heat embossing onto some card to create kind of a your own patterned paper, a little bit of a background. So we do have again, so you've got that pear background. I'm guessing that that she has watercoloured those. So just reading the instructions, she's used some Distress Oxide inks to paint this in a no line colouring style. And yeah, I just think that's absolutely beautiful. She's done an absolutely amazing job on that. I love that. Same down here. So again, just creating some depth and dimension. Some really, really fantastic makes using this set. So again, just some more using the papers, again, different shapes, using those peaches, absolutely love it. We've got creating a shaker panel tag, so we want to create some different pieces. Looks like you'd be able to use that for like a gift card and things, but you've got your instructions and everything for that. Creating a notebook front. We've got an acetate front card here. So again, lots of things that you can do with this set. So looking ahead to see what's in next month's issue 230. This is a mega value pop-up set. So this is called Beautiful Bouquets. And let's have a look. What we get in here is a 17-piece stamp set and a mason jar template. So you get your template just down here. So by the looks of this, you can create a shaped card to look like a mason jar and then fill it with your flowers. So that is absolutely beautiful. Some of their examples here are lovely, and we do still have the sentiments. You've got a bow in there as well. So I'm really excited to see what we can create with that. Definitely be using that mason jar template to create a card. So yeah, 17 stamps, an 18-1 template, and then you've got your digital papers and toppers there to download as well. So you could decorate the jar and things things with the papers if you wanted to, and you have some sentiments in there as well. So absolutely beautiful. That goes on sale on the 5th of May. But so that's a look at the magazine and our free gift. So let's get into what we're going to be doing in today's video. So before I kind of go into do my voiceover and things, I do just want to share with you exactly what it is that I've done, mainly using the die. So I wanted to create something a little bit different. As soon as I seen this, I had a few ideas of what I wanted to do with it, but I want to show you 2 different ways that you can use your dies to, of course, colour in your 2 pieces of fruit. So the first thing I did, which is going to be today's first card, is I've created my own stamps using the dies here, and I've cut this from just some cheap funky foam. You can find this in you know, like the Range in the UK, places like that. You know, it's really inexpensive, and it's a fantastic way of creating your own stamps to go, you know, with any products that you've already got. So I just die cut from this funky foam both of these shapes, and we're going to be able to stamp. So what I want to do is create a solid kind of background, offset it a little bit. I have done this once or twice before. I know I definitely did it at Christmas with a Christmas set. I can't remember what magazine that was with, but I definitely did it Christmas just gone, and I will pop a link to that video if you want to check that out as well. But so we're going to use this, pop it onto an acrylic block, and then we're just going to do some sort of block colouring and things just to colour this in. We're going to create a full background, and it's just going to be something a little bit different that we can then stamp our image just on top. So I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to do one card for the pears, one for the peach, or whether I'm going to mix them together. I'm not sure yet, so we'll see what happens there. So that's the first thing you can do, is just create your own stamps using some funky foam or anything else that you have at home. And the second thing you can do as well, again, so literally the same kind of principle here. This is a piece of mylar. So this is what some stencils are made out of. I picked this up a few years ago now off of Amazon. They came in A3 sheets, and I've just trimmed this piece down, and I've actually now created a stencil. So you do have the actual stencil bit, and then you have the inside as well. So these are your kind of masks. So if you did say stamp and colour your image just there, you could then place this over top and do some kind of ink blending and things around that if you wanted to. So you can definitely use these pieces as well. Don't throw these away. But you do then have your stencil. So again, if I just place it over here, we can then do a little bit of a stenciling in here to colour this peach in, and again the pear as well. And we're going to be doing that as well. Hopefully it's going to be both in today's video. If I don't manage to get both of them into this video, I will create a second video using the stencil. So that's just a little look at what you can create. So basically creating a stencil using your dies, or you can create your own stamp. So you can do this with a coordinating die set. That is going to work perfectly. But also you could do it with your stamp as well. So, you know, you could just stamp that and cut around it for your funky foam. If you're very careful, then you could do it to create a stencil as well. But definitely with a coordinating die, it is the easiest way of doing this. So that's what we're going to be using it today. So let's get into today's cards using this Peach Perfection stamp and die set. So to start off, I'm going to be creating our background. So the background is going to be the main focal point of this card. So I've just added some temporary adhesive to the back of these stamps, and I've just added them onto an acrylic block, and I'm using some of my Prism watercolour inks. So for the peach, I am using Evergreen, which is the darkest, Rainforest Green, Olive Green, and to start with, I did use a little bit of Canary Yellow, but I didn't end up keeping that in very long. Then for the peaches, I believe I used, I think it was Fire Coral, Camille Pink, and I think it was Apricot Sorbet. And all I'm doing is, so on this stamp, I'm just starting at like one corner, and I'm adding all of that dark colour, and then kind of blending it, but not really blending it, because I want to have that kind of definition between the colours. And you can sort of see different examples. I'm just literally going over the same areas of the stamp to get that same kind of look. And yeah, I'm just kind of going for it really. I'm not being too precious about where I am adding the colour. Some of them, like I said, are blended really nicely. Others are where you can kind of see the colours a little more. I like it where you can see the colours and you can kind of see the edge of the like ink pads and things on it, but you know, you can definitely get this as a much more blended look. And I have to be really honest, I absolutely love this. This is by far one of the nicest papers or backgrounds, you know, that I've created. I just absolutely love it. I love this technique of being able to just add different colors together, and you know, not having it look too perfect. I was planning to add in the stamped image over the top, but I actually decided just to leave the background like this. I'm going to add some little details when we finished it, but yeah, I do absolutely love it. So I showed you at the beginning the actual stamp itself. With well, actually with both of them, I did cut out the bit for the leaf, and to be honest, when I was doing the pear, I completely forgot about it, and then it wasn't until I sort of was looking at the peach, realising that obviously there was a piece missing from it. The peach leaf just went in very easily because it wasn't particularly big, but that pear leaf didn't. I just didn't have enough space for it. I do end up adding something at the end, which you'll see, but I could have done without doing it, or with it. I'm not fussed either way. I think it looks great without it, but you know, I think it could look a little more finished having that leaf on there. So you can kind of decide if you want to add that details, but like I just sort of cut that away. So let me know in the comment section down below how much you love this paper, because this is just, oh, I just absolutely love it all through creating it. Yeah, I absolutely love it. And I'm considering actually making another one and potentially selling it on my Etsy shop as like a digital download. Let me know what you guys think of that, because yeah, I just absolutely love this. You can see I'm just working my way across the paper. I'm trying to kind of get a good variation because I'm going to be creating 2 cards. So I've cut this down to about just over 6 inches, and I've left the length the same, and I'm going to cut this down for 2 6x6 inch cards, and it just works so perfectly. If you're going to create a background like this, why not create a bigger panel, and then you can kind of trim it down and use it on multiple cards. But this is such a great way of using this set. It's completely different as well. It doesn't necessarily look like we've used this stamp set or anything, because obviously we're just using the coordinating die, but you could then choose to stamp your image, the actual image of the pear and the peach, over the top of this, and kind of match those together. I was planning to do that, like I said, I just decided not to. For the little leaf on the peach, I did start off with some different inks, but I changed it up to use then the evergreen and the olive green, just so you can see it. I let it overlap just a little bit as well, and yeah, I just think those peaches are so cute. So this is where I'm coming in with this leaf, just to try and add, I'm just sort of experimenting off to the side before I popped it onto my project, but I was happy without the leaves, and some of the leaves I do quite like as well. So for the leaves, I think I came in with a different colour. I can't remember which one. I think it was Ocean Spray. So I did Ocean Spray and Olive Green. So if I was to recreate this, I would make sure I had enough space for the leaves, because I do like having the leaves on there. But it's just in this instance where there's not quite enough space, I'm kind of more just stamping it sort of over the top portion of the pears. But I just absolutely love this patterned paper. Everything about it I think is brilliant. Let me know if you wanted this, you know, if you was keen maybe to have this as a digital download, or you think it's a good idea. Do you think I should do the same as this and mix the peaches and the pears, or do you think I should do just one with all pears and one with all peaches? I'd love to know what you guys think. So just for some added detail, this was at the point where I decided not to stamp. So you can see just to the right hand side the image there, and you can see the kind of details that it would add, certainly for the pear anyway. But I decided that I didn't want to add that on there, and the biggest reason was because of that leaf. Obviously the leaf I didn't stamp the same, but also just because I love how this looks, the graphicness of it, so all those quite sharp lines, I think it's brilliant. So I just took a jelly roll pen and just added some dot detailing. I don't know how much is picking up really on the camera. I do hold the card up at the end just so you can see a closer look, but looking at the card itself, it just adds a little bit more kind of interest to it. But yeah, I just absolutely love this. I really hope you'll give it a go, because I just think this is brilliant. I'd love to do with this with like lemons and things, so something with just a little bit that yellow colour I think would be so beautiful. So it took me just a little bit of time. It didn't really create, I think it took me about 30 minutes probably to create this background, mainly because at the start of it I was trying to work out where I wanted my colours to go, and like the, you know, where I was putting it, making sure that I had enough peaches to pears and things like that. But you can really go through this quite quickly, you know, if you're creating a bigger panel. So I would urge you, if you're creating a background, create a bigger panel so you can use it on another project. So now this is finished, I can actually get into creating my cards. So again, it's all going to be about this background because that's really where I've spent my time with this. So I'm going to be creating two 6x6 inch cards. So this panel, I think I cut it down to 5.5, and I'm just kind of framing it exactly how I want it to be. This would be nice if I had a square stitched edged die. I think that would be nice just to add a little more detail to it because it is on the plainer side, but yeah, I'm happy with how it is. Then I cut a piece of, this is the Tonic Studio Craft Perfect, this is the apricot orange. I thought this colour would go really nice with those peachy tones, and I've cut this down to, this is 5 3/4 inch square. So again, just doing two of these. It really doesn't take much longer, to be honest, to create a second card when you've got all of your supplies out. I am going to be popping these cards on my Etsy shop. There is a link in the description box down below, so you can go over there and check that out. A lot of my recent cards I've popped on there for sale, so you can check those out. And also then my paper ink stamp, 2 stamp sets is for sale over there as well. So I've put my bases down. I'm not going to put my backgrounds down just yet because I'm actually going to add just a line detail across the card. Then we're going to have our sentiment. So I've taken this sort of minty cardstock. It was something that I found in my stash. And I'm actually using the largest size. This is the Creative Craft Products scalloped edge rectangles, and because what I don't have is any kind of edge shapes, I'm really keen to potentially that be a product that I release, so we have different shaped and patterned just edges, because sometimes I want it to just be straight on one side and be a bit more decorative on the other. So without having that kind of specific product, the easiest way of doing it I found is just to die cut a bigger panel than what you need, and I'm literally just going to trim this down. It's probably about 1/2 inch strip here that I'm going to trim down. I trimmed it to the first scallop, which again I would say is probably about 1/2 inch, and then I'm just going to trim both of these sides, and then I've still got this piece of card here that I can use for something else. But again, it's just going to add a little bit of detail where then our sentiment is going to stand out from the background. I'm just going to add this on with some glue. I'm going to make sure I get this nice and straight. So I'm lining up my background piece with the lines on my grid mat, and then I'm just picking a point on the mat again with the lines to make sure that I get this straight. And again, it's just adding something a little more interesting to I'd say a busy background. I don't think it's particularly busy, but it is the main focal point of our card today. So I'm just doing the second one here, and I'm just trimming down those edges then as well. I was thinking about adding this panel on with foam tape, but to be honest, I just popped it on flat, and then I'm going to put my sentiment up with a little bit of foam tape. So I'm just going to add some glue to the back of this. So I did start this originally, so here's a little tip for you. You can see that I started this on the background, and I did then use one of those as a idea when I came to thinking about stamping the outline on it. But make sure that if you want to use the outline, make sure that you're stamping your images the right way. So I started on the back of this, but my peach I was actually stamping the opposite way to how the outline stamp would stamp. Hopefully that makes sense. So just make sure that if you want to use both of these together, that you are getting them the right way around. So that the pear I had stamped the right way, but it was the peach that I hadn't. And as it turned out, it didn't matter, obviously, because I didn't stamp those anyway. But a paper has two sides. Just go and use the other side of it rather than sort of wasting anything. So the sentiment I'm going to use is Sweet as a Peach, and I've just taken these Hefty Doodle stitched circle nesting dies. I've picked a slightly bigger size that is going to fit our sentiment on here. I'm going to take my Misty, and the good thing about this is I've got this scrap of the same apricot cardstock here, and I'm just going to ink it up with some VersaFine Onyx Black ink. I'm going to stamp it at the bottom, and then I'm just going to rotate it and stamp it on the other side. When I stamp onto this Craft Perfect, because it's got a weaved texture, I do stamp on the other side of this, so I stamp on the smoother side just to get a better impression. And then I'm just going to cover that with some clear embossing ink, and I'm just going to heat set this just to add, again, a little bit of shine to our card here. And then I'm just going to die cut that with that stitched circle, and that is then going to be our sentiment finished. And then, like I said, I'm going to add some foam pad to the back of this just to have a little bit of dimension on here. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this paper. Again, let me know if you think it would be a good idea maybe to have this as like a digital download, because I'm quite interested in something like that. I just think it's such a beautiful background. I'm so pleased with how it's turned out. Sometimes you just have that project and it's just better than you thought it was going to be, and it's just something kind of random. Like, we don't always think about how we can use our stamps and dies in different ways, but yeah, I just think it's kind of so lovely. And like I said, I would really love to do some lemons with this. I think just those bright yellows I think would be so beautiful. To finish these cards, I'm using so this is the Olive Branch Nouveau crystal drops here. I'm just adding 5. I'm doing a few more than what I normally do, but I really love how these are turning out. So if I just hold this a little closer, hopefully there you go, it's going to focus. You can see those little dots, details that I've added onto here, and again you can see some of the peach and the pears have blended that colour nicely. Some are a little bit more sharp, but I really love those sharp ones as well. So leave me a comment down below to let me know what you think. Give this video a thumbs up if you do like it, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. So that's going to be it for today. Thanks very much for watching, and happy crafting.